You want to say anything to anybody?
Hello.
Whether
Well,
we know it.
let's just look at this creed and let's go one by one and let's see if actually anybody in this country actually believes this anymore. Number one, I believe first in God, the same God in which my ancestors believed. I believe in Jesus Christ and that he is my savior. Does this country believe that?
Well, there was a time when I could absolutely
No, I'm
unequivocally.
talking today in 2020. Does this country
Okay, well,
believe that?
if you let me
It's
make
a
a
yes or
comment,
no.
right this second, I would say no. There was a time otherwise you could unequivocally say yes.
Okay,
I'm not
next.
sure.
I can say yes anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure I can.
Okay. Second, I believe in the Constitution of the Republic of the United States of America without interpretation.
That's a no.
Without interpretation.
That's a no-brainer.
As it was written and meant to work, I have given my sacred oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies and domestic.
Yep, that's a no-brainer.
I intend to fulfill that oath.
Yep.
And that is the problem today, is none of our politicians follow the Constitution.
Absolutely not. That's a no-brainer.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have these damn shutdowns right now.
We wouldn't have the shit show that we have right now, and it is a friggin' shit show. And absolutely, I don't believe half these schmucks, these clowns even know what the Constitution is anymore, just based on their actions. Not to mention, you take the Supreme Court that is, interpreting it all the time. It's not their job to interpret it, right?
Well, it is their job to interpret it, actually.
Well, no. I guess what I was trying to say was not to change it. That is right. Their job is to basically carry it out, right?
Yeah. This is where you get into the definition of: is it a living document or is it meant to be interpreted as it was written?
Well,
and it's unfortunate that that's going to be one of the debate.
Let me put it this way. I don't like the word interpret in this case because interpret means subject to almost in an objective manner, subject to almost one's understanding.
Well, that's why he clearly states without
belief.
interpretation.
Yeah, no interpretation. You're supposed to follow it. That's why they took the time to develop it and write it down.
And let me rephrase this, okay? What he wrote. Defend the Constitution of what?
The United States of America.
Not of China.
Yeah.
Not of Australia.
Yeah.
Not of Italy.
Yeah.
Not of Mexico.
Not Belize. Yeah.
No offense, the rest of the world, but you. Okay? You go take care of yourselves.
Well.
And the problem is the United States followed the examples of the rest of the world. Bad move. Bad move.
Well, it's not a bad move if, and I'm just being facetious now, if you want to become part of the New World Order, right? Basically, you want to have one government. People find this hard to believe, but this is coming, folks. This is not a joke. This is coming if you don't wake up, okay? New World Order, what does it mean? Most Americans don't even know what the term means. Here's what it means, folks. This is a science fiction. Basically, no borders, language, or culture at that point. The removal of borders. You basically have one world government, one world court system, one world army, essentially, and one world currency. And if you have that, if we go to that, and if we participate in that, I'm just putting it out there to think about. If we decide to join that, what I call shit show, then take your Constitution, take your Bill of Rights, take it all, and flush that down the toilet, because that won't exist anymore. That won't exist.
Well, corporations will rule the world completely at that point.
Yeah, no kidding. You think we're in servants now? You ain't seen nothing yet. You will be a total slave and indentured servant.
Yeah, it'd be just like that Matt Damon movie you would like to refer to.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what's coming. Unless people wake up.
A lot of people around the world like to make fun of the United States, and our Constitution, especially when people start defending, the right to bear arms. And I've had several debates with Australians I've known over the years, and they always come back to that saying, stupid Americans, you have to have your guns.
Yeah, we
Look
do.
at all
Yeah.
these massacres you have to live through.
How you doing now in Melbourne? How's that going now? You got police officers smashing in windows and beating you up because you don't have a mask on. Now, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating shoot them back or whatever. But, you know, really, that's like Gestapo stuff, okay? Okay, you want that to go on in Australia, God bless you, okay? As for me in the U.S., baby, I don't think so. I'm not for it, okay? And that's where we're headed if we're not careful either, okay? And the Founding Fathers put the Second Amendment in there for a friggin' reason. I have members in my family that make fun of me and laugh. Oh, the Second Amendment, it's antiquated. Get rid of it. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, I'll tell you what, shithead. Let's get rid of it. Let's do the grand experiment. Let's defunct the Second Amendment. You take it out, okay? And then you can count days afterwards, if you know what I mean.
You're going to get it back?
You'll never get it back. And then on top of it, you know what'll happen after that? Shit will happen that you can't even imagine, and it won't be good stuff, okay? You'll be on the wrong side of a rifle, and you'll have zero recourse, okay? Zero. Okay, I hope you like fighting with either your fist or a butter knife, because that's all you'll have. Okay, so the Founding Fathers had a lot of foresight, okay, because they looked at history. They looked at history, they looked at the Bible, they looked at feudal Europe, they looked at what kings do, they looked at what warlords do, and they thought and devised a means, well, how can we prevent this going forward in the future, right? How can we arm and equip good, honest, working people so that the government has to think twice before they try to come down on them with the hammer? How can we do that? And that's what they did. No other country in the history of the world ever thought of that. Okay? Yeah, we're a little bit violent or whatever. We got our movies and stuff, which I don't agree with, you know. Yeah, shootings and stuff do happen at times. Yeah, it does. But, you know, nothing's perfect, right? Nothing's perfect.
Yeah. Why don't we just defund the cops too while we're at it and get rid of police the stations and officers and stuff like that, and just let the friggin' criminals run amok? Yeah. I mean, you got to have a screw loose for ideas like that.
In my opinion.
Yeah. How's that going to work? You want to defend yourself? You want to go hand-to-hand combat when you got no police to call? You a martial arts expert? Are you good with a knife? Most people aren't.
Well, if you were actually trained in how to use a weapon, Dan, you wouldn't be so scared. Okay, and you wouldn't have to call the cops. You'd be able to defend yourself.
I'm not scared at all. I actually can defend myself to an extent.
Well,
in a lot of ways.
what I'm saying is,
most people though,
I don't think we should rely on government or the police in many ways.
Well, I believe in law and order. Okay, let me put it that way. You know, you don't want vigilantism either. You know what I mean. So it's a fine line. Okay.
It goes back to the Bible. Okay, God understands that we are imperfect creatures and we're going to make mistakes. But does He take away our free will?
No, He gives us choice.
He gives us choice, and that means horrendous things are going to happen in this world. And the mistake that a lot of these regressives make is that they're like, we need bigger government. We need more government. We need more schools. We need more laws because everything has to be regulated.
Yeah, great. I got to have my ass wiped all the time now, and I got to ask permission for it first. Really? Yeah. No thanks.
True freedom is scary.
Yeah, it is because it's called total accountability.
Things can go wrong.
That's right. It's called responsibility and total accountability. You're responsible. We have a society now that passes the buck, to coin the phrase from Harry Truman going back, right? Everybody does, including our politicians. They're perfect examples, right? Because our society's like that and we allow it. It's the curly shuffle. Just pass it off. Well, it's not me. I'll kick the can down the road. And this is why we're in the mess we're in. Problems are not easy to deal with. I'm the first to admit, even at a personal level, sometimes I shy away too. We're all human beings. We have our, weak days and frailties and everything else. But by and large, I mean, we have a lot of systemic problems that aren't being fixed.
Okay. Should we continue?
Sure. So, this guy, if we didn't say it earlier or allude to it, folks, this guy ultimately paid for this stuff with his life. So I'll leave it at that right now.
Well, I was about to address that
Yep.
in the fourth item, but right now, third, he says, I believe in the family unit, and in particular, my family unit. I have sworn that I will give my life, if it is required, in defense of God, the Constitution, or my family. Okay?
Yep.
Fourth, I believe that any man without principles that he is ready and willing to die for at any given moment is already dead and is of no use or consequence whatsoever.
Strong words.
Wow.
Powerful. This guy, in my opinion,
this guy walked the walk.
He walked the walk, brother. You took it right out of my. Yeah, this guy was, he was like a real John Wayne. This guy, I didn't know him, but the way he writes, I mean, this guy was a guy's guy, a man's man, and he's straightforward, powerful words.
He didn't say, yeah, I believe in this, go protect me. This guy volunteered for Vietnam, right?
Yeah, he did. He was in combat. He got various medals, commendations, whatever you want to call it. And he served in 2 branches, by the way. So I guess if he's a quack and a whack job and a liar and treasonous and sedition or whatever, I mean, I suppose you could say that about him. I guess he served in 2 branches, right, willingly. So.
Yeah, and if you have not served in the military or certain jobs that require it, you have not taken an oath to the Constitution. So some people, is it that big a deal? Well, if you take your oath seriously, it is a big deal.
I mean, if you believe in the Holy Bible and in particular you believe in the United States Constitution and everything it stands for, if you take that oath, then you're going to take that seriously.
And the oath is to the Constitution, not to the president, not to the governor, not to Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, don't get me going. Don't get me going.
So, but I'm just going to say this, and then
you sound antiquated, don't you?
Well, it all comes back to what Tilo said. People, and what the Bible says. People aren't going to move until they feel the pain. And by then it might be too late. Like I told you, if you were on the Titanic,
yeah, I know,
and you moved too late, you died.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was the intro. This is the forward. This is Bill Cooper here with his daughter. Yep. His wife was an Asian woman.
Live long and prosper.